Hello and welcome to Outlast. This game is celebrating its 10th anniversary, and I wanted to do a playthrough, two in fact. One playthrough collecting all the documents, and another playthrough playing on the hardest difficulty, which is called Insane Mode. I'm first going to go through and do the playthrough of getting all the documents first. I'm going to be using a guide to make sure that I get absolutely every single one of them, and I may as well try and get all the notes as well, but I'm more interested in getting the documents. So if there's any notes that I miss, then it doesn't matter as long as I get the documents. Now, what is the difference between notes and the documents? Well, the notes are when you are filming things and your character makes comments that you can read about what they just saw. That's a note. A document is when the character finds a physical folder that has some documents inside that you can actually read as well. So the priority is getting all the documents, not getting all the notes. So if I miss a note, it's okay. If I miss a document, it's not okay. So that's why I'm using a guide to make sure I get all the documents. Now if I do get all the notes, then that's a great bonus as well. But my main focus is just getting all the documents as well. And the second playthrough will be playing on the hardest difficulty, which is Insane Mode. On Insane Mode, you cannot save, there's no checkpoints. And so what happens is when you die on Insane Mode, you have to start the game at the start again, all the way back. You could literally get to the last part of the game and die. And then it's like, well, back to the start you go. So I haven't played on that difficulty ever. So it's going to be interesting to play on that hardest mode as well. And I don't know how long it's going to take me to get through. So what that might mean is the streams of Outlast might become 1 or 2 days a week. And with Evil Within, when I played that on Akumu mode for the first time, it was playing it during October, and I had to extend it into November. So if that ends up happening with Outlast, so be it. But if that is looking to be the case, like if it's looking like it's going to take more than, a few days to get through Outlast on Insane Mode, then what I'll do is change the schedule so that there's only 1 or 2 days focused on Outlast, and then the other days are focused on the other horror games that I want to do. But anyway, we're not up to that point yet. We're still at the start of the first playthrough, not ever, but the first playthrough of celebrating this game's 10th anniversary, getting all the documents. I may also do the Whistleblower DLC as well, as part of the documents part of the playthrough. I haven't really decided yet, but I would want to actually do something related to that anyway, because it is very integral to the overall narrative of Outlast 1, that I would like to honor the Whistleblower DLC as well. I don't know if it came out the same year as the main game did, but in any case, I still want to include it in some fashion. I haven't really thought of how I'm going to include it yet, but I could very well include it in this first run of Outlast for the 10th anniversary where I'm getting all the documents. So I'm just going to play it on normal for this first run through, and then once I finish and when I'm ready to do the second playthrough for Outlast to celebrate its 10th anniversary, then I'll do it on Insane Mode. Outlast contains intense violence, gore, graphic sexual content, and strong language. Please enjoy. You are Miles Upshur, an investigative reporter whose ambition is about to earn him an intimate tour of hell on Earth. Always willing to risk digging into the stories no other journalist would dare investigate, you will seek out the dark secret at the heart of Mount Massive Asylum. Stay alive as long as you can. Record everything. You are not a fighter. To navigate the horrors of Mount Massive and expose the truth, your only choices are to run, hide, or die.
Agriculture Commissioner Salazar said changing weather patterns were to blame for livestock behavior and encouraged ranchers and breeders to attend this weekend seminar on Beulah Avenue in Pueblo. And if you're out late tonight, you may see some low-flying helicopters near Silverthorne and Leadville. Seems the Arapaho Park Services will be spraying for an infestation of box elderbugs. But do keep all pets and children indoors.
September 17, 2013, from 10/26/011/0756 at mutemail.com to milesupshire@gmail.com. Subject: TIP, tip, illegal activity at Murkoff Psychiatric Systems. You don't know me, have to make this quick. They might be monitoring. I did 2 weeks of software consult at Murkoff Psychiatric Systems facilities in Mount Massive. All sorts of NDAs I'm very much breaking right now, but seriously, fuck those guys. Terrible things happening there. Don't understand it, don't believe half the things I saw. Doctors talking about dream therapy going too deep, finding something that had been waiting for them in the mountain. People are being hurt and Murkoff is making money. It needs to be exposed. I'm just updating my command for Outlast to specify that my focus is on getting these documents, not getting the notes. The notes are when you film something and the character has a comment that you can read about it. The documents are separate to that. They're actual physical things that you pick up. Hey there, Tech. Welcome on in. Thank you so much for the lurk. You're going to stay as quiet as you can to add to the atmosphere. Oh, that's no trouble at all, Tech. You know, don't feel like you have to not chat as much as you might normally do. That's no worries at all. I definitely don't mind in games like this. But thanks for joining. I hope things are going well. I've updated the Outlast command. There'll be 2 separate playthroughs, collect all documents and insane mode. A guide will be used to make sure all documents are collected. Documents are separate from notes. Notes are when something is filmed and the character has a comment to read. Documents are the physical folders that are collected, and so those will be the main priority. And insane mode means there's no checkpoints or saves, so dying means a full game restart. But they're separate though. I'm not doing that insane mode playthrough at the same time as collecting all the documents, so I figured that it'd be better to do it on normal mode and collect all the documents, because then I can have time to actually collect them without feeling like I'm going to die and have to restart the whole game from the start again. There's quite a few actors who have been in a lot of the Assassin's Creed games who actually voice characters in this too, which is really, really cool. Okay, so notes, they're the things that Miles, the main character, will actually note down when he's filmed them. And documents are the collectibles. So the character that has actually sent this to Miles is the character that you play as in the Whistleblower DLC. I start feeling sick just looking at this place. Mount Massive Asylum, shut down amid scandal and government secrecy in 1971, reopened by Murkoff Psychiatric Systems in 2009 under the guise of a charitable organization. Cell phone reception cut off abruptly a mile out, more like a jammer than lost signal. The Murkoff Corporation has a long track record of disguising profit as charity, but never on American soil. Whatever they thought they could get out of this place has to be big. Might finally be the story that breaks the bastards. There will be some points too where I'll stop just to listen to the music. Originally, I wanted to do a third run through of this game to celebrate its 10th anniversary where I listened to the music and only had the music. But they've actually tied, if you go to the options menu, they've tied voice, sound effect, and dialogue, voice, music, and sound effects all to the one volume level. So I had to abandon doing a music-only run. So to sort of like compromise, I'm going to, at certain points, just stop, and whatever music is playing at the time, I'll stop and listen to it until such point as it stops or it loops back on itself. Hey Harbinger, RE4 remake is awesome. Yeah, it's really, really good. I don't know if I'll be able to do any other Resident Evil games in October, but there might be some other Resident Evil games that I might be able to fit in. It just depends though. But too damn long. You're at the start of chapter 12 after the first with Krauser. Oh yeah. Yeah, there definitely can be a lot of long chapters in the remake. There we go, so I think that bit of music is now finished. I love the sound design in this. The way that they've designed this game, on the surface, it's run, 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 go, do this, rush, quick, 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 quick. So if you're the type of gamer who is just like, jump into the game, go through it, there might be a lot of stuff that you don't really care for. atmospherics, setting up suspense, and all that kind of thing. Because I'm going to be stopping to actually listen to the music as part of this playthrough, what I want to also try and do is talk about some of the kind of like techniques that they use in this game with setting up things like suspense and also creating a sense of unease as well. I mean, all horror in movies or games is always subjective, and reading and all that type of stuff too. What scares one person doesn't scare someone else. Clowns may make someone freeze up and get scared. Others might just laugh their ass off. Some get scared by giggling sounds. Some don't. Some get scared by ah, but some don't. Some jump scares work. Some jump scares don't. What this first Outlast game does, and I'll be talking about the sequel in terms of comparing the two approaches. What this first game does is more of a, you know, those movies where there's like a haunted house and the character or the main characters are entering the place and everything's spooky and they don't know what's around every single corner and all that kind of stuff. That's kind of what Outlast is trying to do. It's trying to create an atmosphere of dread and suspense and make you wonder what's behind every corner. So there's a lot of jump scares, a lot of boo, you know. There's some psychological horror at work. There's some gore and stuff. So movies, for example, like Saw and Hostel, where you have a character that is being punished or tortured physically by mutilations and all that kind of stuff. You see a lot of that in this game. So Outlast combines that style of horror as well as a little bit of psychological, but mainly it's more of a haunted house kind of jump scare filled kind of thing. Outlast 2, by comparison, does have those elements still, but it tries to get more under your skin. It tries to mess with your mind as you're going through the game story and all that kind of stuff. Outlast 1 does that to an extent, and you got some very, very macabre sort of sights that you see in this game as well. But that was the approach that they took with this. And at the moment, there's no music. There's just natural sounds. You hear the howling. You hear the wind. You hear some thunder crackling and all that kind of stuff. And all these little elements put together create a really atmospheric kind of thing. And that's one of the things that I absolutely loved about Outlast, is that combination of those things. So while you can explore a little bit, surface level, it's just get in there and run around, you know, and get through things quick. So this is why this game would have a lot of appeal to players who just want to rush through a game. If you want to be a speedrunner, this is probably a good game to do. Because while there is a lot of you have to collect this item first before you can go here, it's really paced out well. Harbinger Resident Evil 2 anniversary, alright. That's definitely locked in to celebrate the original's 25th anniversary. Hey there, Ryu. Hey there, Cellcat. Welcome on into you both. How's things going? Ryu, that was a loud jump scare. Cellcat, that voice scared you. Sorry about that. I thought I'd just try and add a little bit of immersion to the discussion about jump scares. Ryu, someone on the toilet can scare some, but make others laugh or disgusted. Yeah, exactly, Ryu as well, you know. And that's where horror and comedy sort of have a lot of similarities as well. Because what's scary and what's funny to people is very different. I need to remember that I'm also looking for the documents. So we've already got the first one. Just going to look at the guide I've got to see where the second one is. Because I'm streaming this from my console, it means I don't have to do what I do when I'm looking at a guide for Tomb Raider 3 where the game freezes because I have to click off the game screen because I'm streaming from my PC. Just don't want to make sure that I don't miss any documents. Which means I have to make sure that if I am going to listen to music and stop to listen to it or look at the guide, to not have the night vision mode on the camera active so I don't waste batteries. So what I like about that jump scare is that they layered in the sound of like something that is like a creature or something, or an animal, something that's very like, guttural kind of thing. And they've layered that in with the static sound, of course, that you hear. And you can still hear some sounds coming from the TV, like the TV's alive, or there's something in it that's alive, something animalistic. And the other thing too is static actually has something to do with Project War Rider and dream therapy and things that are going on in Outlast. So that television turning on the surface is just a jump scare, but it's also foreshadowing things about, the static and things, which we'll actually see later as we go through the story. It almost sounds like someone's trapped inside the television. You can hear like a scream of anguish. Ryu, yeah, fuck you too, television. I just had an image of McCready from The Thing before he throws the dynamite at the thing. Yeah, fuck you too. Cellcat, way worse things on TV these days, scarier than some static or creature in there. The constant gaslighting ads and shows. Oh, and can you imagine when it gets to the point where commercials are AI created commercials as well? You'll be seeing people with extra hands and one eye is completely different to the other eye, like not just color wise, but I mean like the shape of it and everything. And you'll have people with an extra ear and like all this sort of stuff. I'm only being half serious about that. Murkoff Psychiatric Systems, Project Wallrider, Mount Massive, CO, case number 174. Patient initials, WPH, Billy. Consultation date, 2012-10-14. Initial date of patient consult, 2009-4-12. Patient age 19, gender male. Observing physician Dr. Carl Houston, DBNR. Therapy status. Patient claims to have progressed to self-directed lucid dream states. Morphogenic engine activity observed at unprecedented scale. Continuing stage 4 hormone schedule. Diagnostics. Spirometry revealed no bronchial accumulation. Hematocrit centrifuge again failed to separate erythrocytes. Highly worrisome. MRI revealed arrhythmic REM/NREM cycle. Laughter in NREM state. Interview notes. Billy asked about the status of his mother's lawsuit against Murkoff and the asylum. This represents a catastrophic breach in security, despite Billy's claims that he discovered the truth in the blood dreams of Dr. Traeger. Note, the only Traeger on company records, one Richard Traeger, is an executive from MRD. All orderlies and security personnel must be questioned, and video security improved to include analytical biometrics. Murkoff Psychiatric Systems Project Walrider Mount Massive CO. Ryu, extra hands and people eating not just the foods themselves, but also the boxes and plastics that contain them. Exactly, Ryu. You know, it's so funny. Like, I get the fact that people want to safeguard against their jobs, against AI for like the future, because they want to make sure that things are actually in place so that they can still get the monetary, recognition and all that kind of stuff for their work, right? It's not at that stage yet, though, where you could completely do a movie written by AI, directed by AI, acted by AI, edited by AI, color corrected by AI, sound design, all that type of stuff. We're a very long way from having AI be able to do that competently without having to do anything to help it. You know what I mean? So that is a very, very far sort of like distant point, because there still has to be the human element, right? If you get AI to write your script for you, you still have to go through the script and check for spelling errors, check for things that don't make sense to the narrative that you want to tell. Unless you don't care about what the AI comes up with, obviously. But if you want to craft a story based on what the AI has given you, there still needs to be a human eye that goes through it and goes over it, and a human mind that assesses it and analyzes it and goes, right, how about we do this? It's the same for imagery. Like if you were to use AI to create an image, you still need the human element to go in there and go, I don't like how the AI made the eye look like this, so I have to go in there and change it myself. So we're still at that point with AI. But when we get to the point where you can actually competently and confidently just make AI do an image and it's perfect, like nothing wrong, no blemishes, nothing that's, out of the ordinary, then, that's definitely something to worry about. And if they haven't put in place ways to make sure that they're still being compensated for their work, they need to make sure that they do that, as early as possible and that kind of thing. Hello there, Ronnie. Welcome on in, dude. I hope things are going well. Oh, I forgot to mention too that today's Tuesday for me, so this will be a split stream. So I won't be getting everything done in this stream. In fact, it might even take a few streams, because the way that I'm doing this is by reading the notes, of course, reading the documents, also stopping to listen to music, and also commentating on stuff. So it might take me a few streams to even get through the first phase. And the second phase will take a few streams, no doubt, because that is insane mode difficulty in the second phase. If I die on insane mode, you have to start all the way back at the start again. Cellcat AI will replace Rod as a streamer. It will be boring, but it will happen. Yeah, and have sort of like that voice. Welcome to the stream. I am Rod-Legion. Today we are playing Outlast, Masters of the Universe as an 80s dark fantasy film, besides the Dolph Lundgren version, of course. Yeah, well that's true too. Yeah, I've definitely seen a lot of videos where they've used Mid-Journey or something to create AI images of, concepts of, something done in a certain way, like GTA. Like, imagine GTA 4, but done in, like, a futuristic setting or something, and that kind of stuff. So, okay, will the AI even laugh at our jokes? That's a good question, too. Like, AI comedians and AI audiences watching, Ronnie, but AI will never know what hat to wear. That is how you have hacked the system. Well, that's a good point, too, Ronnie. It won't know what hat to wear. You're definitely right there, dude. Cellcat, maybe. Maybe not. Hey there, Etone. Welcome on in. Yes, scary season is upon us. It well and truly is. Yeah, I've been looking forward to doing this playthrough of Outlast because I've really, really loved this game and I wanted to do something to celebrate its 10th anniversary, but wanted to wait until October to do it because I played this a few months back just to do a playthrough of it. For you, the day Rod entertained all of you was the most important day of your life, but for him, it was Tuesday. Nice reference to the Street Fighter movie there. Ronnie, the perfection is part of the problem. That is the core of the uncanny valley. You're thinking of playing Alan Wake for October spookiness. What do you think? Yeah, that's a good point too about the perfection. That's the thing, right? Because sometimes the imperfection of something is what makes the overall thing what it is. Like there's so many things that are successful the way that they are, that if you went in and changed something that might not be 100% perfect, it might actually have a butterfly effect for the overall thing where it might actually reduce its effectiveness as well. And as for Alan Wake for October, dude, I reckon that would be an awesome game for you to play during October, especially because there's a lot of action-packed sequences, but there's also a lot of really cool characters that you come across and a lot of lore of the place that you can come across too. So yeah, it's really, really good. Please avoid contamination. Wash your hands. Ryu, cola, not Coke, not Pepsi, just cola. That's it. Cola, drink it. And that's actually the drink that I have with me at the moment.
Oh God!
So I'll get very direct advertising. Cola, drink it. Drink it now. Chocolate bars, eat it now. There's a lot of visual jump scares that don't have audio with them as well in this game. I don't know how many actually noticed now, but there was actually someone that was running along there. Little things like that I love in horror stuff. E-Tone, Arnold Cola commercial, drink it now. It's like, put the health drink down now. View chocolate, not Hershey's, Nestle Crunch or M&M's, just plain as fuck chocolate. That'd be a good name for chocolate in something Rue that you don't want to pay the money to get the rights to use the actual name of. Just call it just plain as fuck chocolate. E-Tone, you knew it was coming and still made you jump, lol. That's definitely the mark of a really effective jump scare. If you even know that it's coming up, but it still grabs you when it happens. Your dude wanted to do a Spider-Man kiss to his crush, but she took years to come, and the dude just died from hanging upside down. Damn, that was dark. Yeah, nice use of that moment from the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie. I was saying before that there's a lot of actors in this who voiced characters in the Assassin's Creed series. The main character in this game doesn't actually speak, but as you can hear, he does make noises, screams, yells, panting and all that type of stuff. The actor who actually does the role of Miles is also the actor who plays Blake in Outlast 2, the main character. And that actor's name is Sean Baicho. They're his Assassin's Creed credits, but I'll pull up his IMDb. And he also does the voice work for the main character Miles, but also a character that we're going to come across very soon as well. I'll just post a link to his IMDb in chat.
They killed us. They got out. The variants. You can't fight them. You have to hide. You can unlock the main doors. But security and control. You have to get the fuck out of this terrible place.
What a way to go, being impaled. You looked like he was up his ass for a moment. Yeah. I think that isn't that I think Vlad the Impaler in real life, I think that's the entry point that the spears would actually take when they were impaled on it. Coming up, we're going to have a character named Father Martin appear, and Father Martin is voiced by Andreas Apergus, and they're his Assassin's Creed roles. But I'll also grab his IMDb as well.
little fig.
And who are you, then? I see. Merciful God, you have sent me an apostle. Guard your life, son. You have a calling.
Chris Walker, the big dude that grabbed Miles and threw him off the railing, he's voiced by Chimwemwe Miller, and that's his IMDb. Etern, do you think this game helped blow up the horror genre in gaming? This game coming out in 2013, because Twitch was around before this game came out, Twitch was how I actually came across this game. So I didn't know about it until I saw someone streaming it on Twitch. And when I watched it, I was really struck by the story. In fact, I watched the playthrough from start to finish. So before I even played it myself, I knew what to expect. But it still didn't ruin the experience when I actually finally played it myself. I'm assuming that on Twitch itself, it was a big sort of like stream game that when it first came out was brand new. I imagine a lot of people would have been streaming it and it would have done well. As for like video game horror and stuff, there had been other games before this one that were obviously first person and going around in a location like this and all that kind of stuff. I think, games like Amnesia predated Outlast and that. But I do feel that it's definitely one of the really good first person horror games. And there was probably a lot of copycats that tried to copy it when it came out, and afterwards as well. Tech, getting Bioshock vibes from it, are you? Yeah, that's actually a game series I haven't played. Well, I've played a little bit of the first Bioshock years ago, but that's about all. You little pig, says the man who looks like one himself. Dude went off the window and gets up without his back or legs broken. Exactly, he just walks it off. He knows the trick. Whatever happens, you lose an arm, just stand up, walk it off. Your legs get broken, just stand up, walk it off. It's alright. After a few seconds, it'll be fine. There's actually some notes that I forgot to read. I'm inside. Bodies everywhere. Blood. Burn marks. Heads lined up like bottles behind a bar. Dead Murkoff scientists hung from the ceiling. Their badges say, Murkoff Advanced Research Systems. Murkoff's long-time MO has been to profit off the exploitation of supposed charity. Fuck the third world and bankroll another billion. How did Murkoff think they would make money off a building full of crazy people? There's some kind of tactical cop pinned like a pig on a spit. Tells me to get the fuck out and then dies. Would have been a good thing to hear when I could still leave the way I came. Zalcat, you're playing my favorite game again, Odyssey. You're going to go through it again? Cool. Any particular sort of like approach that you're going to do this time, or just playing as a different character this time, or you dude is as indestructible as a character in a Mortal Kombat match? Well and truly, actually, that's a very good comparison to make. The Murkoff Corporation, United States Office Warrant for Seizure Case Number 294758104. In the matter of the seizure of Mount Massive Psychiatric Center, Murkoff Psychiatric Systems, Mount Massive Wilderness Area, Country Road 112. Affidavits having been made before the Board of Directors by Murkoff Hardline Security, MHS, who has reason to believe catastrophic security failure of psychiatric center with imminent danger of environment contamination. We are satisfied that the affidavits and the testimony establish sufficient evidence to require urgent action on the part of MHS and grounds for the issuance of this warrant. You are hereby required to grant MHS full access to all facilities and surrender complete authority to its agents. By acceptance of this document, you, and any surviving relatives, surrender all claims of litigation against the Murkoff Corp or its subsidiaries for the actions of MHS or the circumstances which required their actions, regardless of responsibility. So that was their warrant for seizure. Looks like someone had too much Mexican food. So, okay, not doing anything different. Oh, that's fair enough. Well, I hope you enjoy, is it your second playthrough? Just want to reiterate, in this playthrough, I'm not worried about getting all the notes, but I do want to get all the documents. The difference between the two is notes is when you're filming. You can't get a note if you're not filming the thing that's happening that creates the note. But notes are the thoughts of the main character that you can read. Documents are the things that you find lying around that you pick up. The priority for this playthrough is getting all the documents and reading them. But at the same time, I might be getting all the notes as well. I didn't want to commit to getting the notes as well, just in case I end up missing any. But I'm going to have the camera filming as much as possible anyway, to make sure that I get them, and I'll cover them too. I won't be, you don't have to have the game in night vision mode to actually see things either. I don't think anyway. I'm not too 100% sure on that, but the priority is the documents, not so much the notes. But I'll still read the notes when I get them. So it'll be a second one, Salcat. Oh, cool. Well, that's good. Well, I hope you enjoy the game a second time around. Murkoff Psychiatric Systems, Project Warrider, Mount Massive CO, case number 136. Patient initials CLW Walker. Consultation dated 2013-5/28. Initial date of patient consult 2011-1/28. Patient age 32, gender male. Observing physician Dr. Rudolph Wernicke. Notation by Dr. Walsh. Therapy status. Morphogenic engine activity plateaued at roughly 2000 ppm. Unsafe to progress beyond stage 3 hormone schedule. Diagnostics. Spirometry revealed light to medium bronchial accumulation. MRI scans consistent with patient's reported dreams. Interview notes. Walker was interviewed in restraints following his self-inflicted mutilations. Restraints have had to be altered to accommodate his enormous size. Extensive dermal eruptions as consistent with failed morphogenic engine cellular activity. He claims the skin ripped from his forehead allows for a truer way of seeing. Seems to have some boyhood experience with tuatara lizards and their parietal eyes. He has expressed anxiety about his flesh, specifically around his lips and nose. Attending orderlies should be advised to watch for further self-mutilation. The mental traumas he sustained while serving in Afghanistan seem to be retarding progression of the ME process. His predominant fixation, amplified by therapy, is a manic exaggeration of military security protocol. A continuation of both chemical and physical restraints is highly recommended. The ME that they refer to there is the abbreviation of morphogenic engine. Salcat, seeing a lot of glitches, first played it on PS4, now on Series X. Do you think there's a difference, or just bad luck? Enemies flying through the air, getting stuck, and other weird stuff? That's actually a good question. I've found when playing a lot of the games on Xbox that I am now playing on the PlayStation 5, that there's that there's glitches that didn't happen on the Xbox version that happens in the PlayStation version. So I wouldn't be surprised if there are some differences. The other thing is too, like, if a game was originally on the Xbox One, for example, and you're playing it on the Xbox Series X, because they have to emulate the game that came out on Xbox One, there might be some glitches that have happened that weren't in the original version, but have only happened because the emulation that they've done on the game has caused them to happen. So it could be something like that too, Salcat, maybe with the Series X. But yeah, I'm not too sure though if you played it on the PS4 first and then on the Series X, because that's two completely different consoles. Exit. I love the touch that the exit sign is red, not green like it should be. That's not a mistake, of course. They purposely made it red. Having said that, though, I haven't seen every single exit sign in every single part of the world that has exit signs, so maybe there are some exit signs in real life that actually are red instead of green. But in this case, it's red by design. I love the sound design where if you have the camera zoomed all the way out and then you zoom all the way in, it has a noise that doesn't happen with the camera when you have it zoomed out. those vocals seem to go on for a while, but I wanted to get as much as possible. For those who might be joining the stream, I'm not just rushing through the game. I'm celebrating its 10th anniversary, so I want to do something special. And part of that is stopping to listen to any music that happens until it either starts to loop on itself or it just stops. And in the case of that vocal that we heard with the female vocals, it seems that it wouldn't stop until I actually moved out of that spot. It just seemed to be a continuous sort of thing, which is freaky in and of itself too, to have that continuous sort of like vocalization happening as well. Now that is, dude was just taking a nap, no big deal. Exactly. I mean, he had a very rough month, and he just needed to have a good rest. Now that is one ugly motherfucker. Yeah, he doesn't look too good. They're also watching Looney Tunes. Yeah, I think they're a bit more loony than the Looney Tunes that they're watching though. But that's another example of the static on the screen that I was talking about with the television. The first time we come across a TV in this, when Miles climbs through the open window, had the static, and it had the sort of like sounds coming from it. Some of the sounds is like a wounded animal or something like that. But there's also a little bit of human anguish sounds in that too. And we see them totally fixated on the static on the screen in like a trance-like state. And this is the note that Miles makes about that. A crowd of broken men watching a dead channel. They look like patients. They survived whatever happened here, but nobody's home. It makes me think of the movie Ace Ventura. There's a scene where Ace goes to the childhood home of the person that he's investigating behind the theft of a dolphin. And he goes and visits their childhood home and meets their parents. And the mother is very sort of like aloof and isn't all there. And the father, in a scene to Ace Ventura, says, "The engine's running, but there's no one behind the wheel." That kind of makes me think of that, when Miles has this note about whatever happened here, but nobody's home. Alright, we've got the key card for security control. I even like the subtle use of things flying through the air, and also the movement of the curtains. And it's them trying to make the player think that they're seeing things that aren't there, but are there, but they're not the things that the person thought they were, you know. Like out of the corner of your eye, you might see the curtains flickering and think it's like some creature or something coming at you or about to come at you, but you look and it's just the curtains moving. So outside, if we have a look, it is windy outside. It's been confirmed to be windy outside at the moment in the game. So it's not out of the ordinary to see these leaves flying past, but they're flying past nonetheless, and that is also something that could potentially catch someone's eye as they're going through, and potentially cause more suspense and unease about what's going on. And what's even more eerie is it seems that these windows aren't even open, and yet these curtains are flowing, like they're possessed or something like that. Review, hi, I'm looking for Ray Finkel. And a clean pair of shorts. I love that moment too. So, okay, you knew he was going to jump you. They told you not to wake him up. Exactly. It's like, just leave him be. What I like about that is when we first came through this spot where he's on the wheelchair, he slightly moves, which is designed to, of course, make the player flinch and get a bit more on edge about holy shit. But because the character doesn't grab you there, it might make you think that there's nothing else about the dude. And distractions in horror is a good technique to put in jump scares later that the player might have actually forgotten could have been a jump scare. Now, when I talk about this stuff, I'm not saying that this is for every single person. Potentially, there might be some people where this would be a thing for them, but there's also people who might not experience this. But I just want to walk through the steps. So, when you first walk past this dude, he kind of flinches a bit.
Get the fuck away from me.
I wasn't expecting that dialogue. That's cool. He flinches a bit, but he doesn't fully move. He doesn't get off there. He doesn't grab you. He doesn't do anything. So in that moment, it's a little bit of a jump scare maybe, but a slight one. The game's not trying to be like, boo! It's just like trying to be like, hey, kind of thing. So you walk past, and then you get distracted or focused on what's going on here. Ironically, these characters are focused on the static. So you could be looking and, you get focused on this. Holy shit, what's going on? Oh, the static, blah, 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 blah. You get caught up in all this. And so your mind's thinking about the latest thing that you saw, which was all this stuff. And so once you go through here and all that, and go through and da-da-da-da-da, and grab this. Now, by the time you're coming back through here, you might be thinking, oh, well, I've already been through here, and just walked through. And you may have forgotten about the wheelchair dude, or you might think that he's not going to do anything, and then,
Don't hurt me anymore.
boom, grabs you, static, blah, 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 all that shit happens. It might not be that way for everyone, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's how they intended that to be, in terms of setting up the jump scare. Sometimes jump scares don't have to be instant, as in, like, when you're creating the jump scare yourself, you don't want to make it an instant thing all the time, because then what happens is the audience or the player expects every single reveal of something to potentially be a jump scare. You want to make the viewer or the player get into a false sense of security, thinking, oh, I've already passed that part, nothing happened. And then when you do pass the part again, boom, something happens, and try and grab you that way. I wonder what other dialogue he says if we go near him. He said, get the fuck away from me, don't hurt me anymore. Let's see what else he says.
If I don't sleep, they can't let me do it.
If I don't sleep, they can't make me do it. This kind of thing, not wanting to actually sleep, and there is a reason why this character doesn't want to sleep, and there's things that are related to sleep, like dreaming and all that kind of stuff. But it made me think of A Nightmare on Elm Street, and the main theme in that movie is about how Freddy Krueger can actually manipulate the dreamscape to take over someone's dream, and if he kills you in your dream, you die for real. And a lot of the characters are afraid to go to sleep, and they'll do whatever they can to actually prevent themselves from going to sleep. There's even mention in one of the movies that someone tried to prevent their eyes from closing, so they cut their eyelids off. Doing anything that they possibly could to make sure that they don't fall asleep. The fear of falling asleep and the fear of what might happen if they actually did go to sleep and all that kind of stuff. So that's something that's a theme in the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. But it's also a little bit of a theme here with Outlast, and the idea that these patients don't want to go to sleep and dream, because dreaming is part of the experimentation that is going on about Massive here.
You can't make me.
Ryu, but yeah, grabs a sip of some Coca-Cola to add to the enjoyment. Drink it now, Ryu. Like the vending machine had on it. So, okay, would it freak you out if you saw your own stream suddenly appear on that TV that they're watching? It actually would. That would be kind of freaky, to be honest. And especially if it was able to actually speak and say, certain dialogues. Yeah, Ryu. 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. 3, 4, better lock your door. 5, 6, grab the crucifix. 7, 8, gonna stay up late. 9, 10, never sleep again. Ryu munching on popcorn calmly to the scary shit. Not literally, though. Yeah, you don't want to choke on the popcorn, though, if there's a jump scare that makes you gasp or anything. Now that was a great, great silent jump scare. That was more of a visual kind of thing. But I could have sworn that that wasn't swinging like that when I first entered this room. So that's an example of a jump scare where they're not drawing your attention to a potential fright with the audio. They're doing it with a visual. So when you're going over here and it's in darkness, all of a sudden there's a light. And that's because this has fallen down and is swinging around as well. And things that are swinging around like this, while it's not actually what's going on, as in this light isn't being moved by an unseen force, or isn't like possessed or something like that. The fact that it's swinging this wildly is almost as if there is an invisible hand making it swing like this. Unless I'm just wrong and things like this could naturally sway like this, but for the purposes of this game, I assume that they want to make it sway like this to create an uneasy feeling in the player. Potentially. As I said before, not everything will be experienced the same way by everyone, or have the same effect. But I do like silent jump scares where it's more about making the jump scare be a visual thing, be more subtle. It's like when a character's watching something on television, then all of a sudden something quickly passes by, but there's no sound. It can still act as a jump scare because you're not expecting it. Witness. I'm already beat all to hell, picking broken glass out of my scalp. Couple cracked ribs. Nearly killed by a deformed giant. Looks like somebody tried to fuck start his head with a cheese grater. He throws me through a wall, knocks me unconscious. I wake up and some doughy old man with a face like an alcoholic kitty fiddler in a homemade priest outfit calls me his apostle. Not a job I asked for. There are words scrawled in blood everywhere. I'm getting an ugly feeling in my gut that the priest is writing them, and for my benefit. So that's a note. I'm not worried about getting all the notes in this game, but that's potentially one that you could miss if you don't go in. Ryu, of course, you're being silly tonight. Yep, a casualty of Taco Bell. That's okay, Ryu. I definitely don't mind. That's awesome. Just want to double check that I'm going to be able to get the next document. Project Walrider Profitability Report. From Helen Granat to Group 8416 at murkoffcorp.lu. Subject, Project Walrider on-site inspection. Dear Sirs, the full report pending, no immediate action is required on the part of the Murkoff Corp. The profit potential of Project Walrider remains staggeringly high. The 4 fatalities contain enough ambiguous data to make any litigation, if evidence is correctly managed, impossible. Project Walrider remains a dangerous initiative, and there will almost certainly be further casualties. As with the others, however, family and government interest in the patients is so low as to make any chance of legal actions vanishingly unlikely. Violence among patients is increasing as the morphogenic engine therapy gets closer to producing working models, but a combination of physical and chemical restraints has proven sufficiently effective to assure continued control and profit. Respectfully, Helen Granat, Murkoff Legal Mitigation Department. So this kind of thing is not unique, of course, to Outlast. The idea of finding documents and things like that. You can trace this all the way back to the original Resident Evil, and most likely even further as well in the horror genre of gaming, where you have notes and documents that you can pick up that are designed to give those players who are actually interested a bit more details about characters or events or the locations that they're actually going through as well. So this is one of those games too, of course, where you don't actually have to collect all this if you don't want to. If you just purely want the experience of playing through the game from start to finish and not worrying about collecting all the things or even reading them, the game is definitely providing that. If you're also a player that likes to explore a little bit, it's not like it's a massive open world thing where you can explore every room of the asylum without, restraints or restrictions. But you can actually explore a little bit and find documents and stuff that tells you information about what's going on. There actually are comics that are set, I think maybe some of the comics are set before Outlast 1, but there's certainly comics that are set between Outlast 1 and 2 and go off and go into a lot more detail about stuff, about the lore of the series and all that kind of stuff. And I just remembered too, there's actually a channel that does a really, really comprehensive look at the Outlast story. And they also did a big coverage of the Whistleblower DLC for this game, the comic books, and also the second game as well. And I just want to direct to that channel and also the actual video. So the actual channel itself that I'm going to be linking Outlast videos of is Gaming Harry's YouTube channel. So there's the link to their channel. They cover a lot of different games, and they do comprehensive analysis of the stories. So if you're wanting more information about the story of a game that you really like, or there's some things that you need cleared up, or maybe some things pointed out that you didn't notice or recognize and stuff like that, or you might have forgotten, Gaming Harry is a great channel to check out for that kind of content. And specifically, I mean, there's individual Outlast videos that he's done, but there is one where he actually covers Outlast 1 and 2 and the comics as well. Obviously, with the Outlast Trials being a new game that's come out, there'll also be stuff on his channel for that as well. But I just want to link specifically to the video where he actually covers all of that content. It's a video he's titled The Entire Outlast Story So Far. Obviously, there's been more since he made this video, but here's a link to that video. Hey there, Lynch Mob. How's things going? Salcat, you're waiting for the thrift store to pick up your old couch. Hurry up, you're getting hungry and want to go to the store. Yeah, that can be annoying when that happens. You know, when you're trying to, you know, get things done and you're waiting on something, you know, and you sort of like think to yourself, why couldn't it happen earlier? Because sometimes you think, okay, I'll put off doing these other things that I was going to do because this is supposed to happen at a certain time. That certain time comes around and they don't turn up. And it's like, okay, I could have done the thing that I said I was going to do later once they had arrived earlier and have it done by now. View fatalities. The poor bastard, he was looking at some dirty videos and pictures while nobody was looking. He pleased himself too hard. Yeah, he definitely died in a very mysterious circumstance. Hey there, Brutus. How's things going, dude? And there's one more document. You going great, Brutus? That's excellent. You took the night off? Oh, cool. I hope you've been enjoying it so far. As for how I'm going really, really well. Been looking forward to doing this kind of playthrough with this game. Celebrating its 10th anniversary. It's one of my favorite horror games, I'd have to say. It's funny. I was taking a drink at the point where the lights come back on and Chris Walker starts to look. So I'm glad that I was able to get into the locker before it got to the point where he was going to detect me. You, they lie. Who? Ubisoft? Everybody lies, Adam. Made me think of Deus Ex, Human Revolution. So, okay, even more annoying is when they don't give you a time for coming to your house just in the morning. Yeah, it's just like, yeah, we'll be there in the morning. Okay, so morning is 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You know, can you be more specific? Like early morning, late morning, you know, or an actual time? And then you think, okay, if they're going to come late, early in the morning, then I won't be able to do certain things. Then they come, and then they come in like after midday, and it's like, great, I could have done all those things. The big fucker is stalking me. Found a patient file for a Chris Walker, ex-military police, several tours in Afghanistan. A lot of the blood in this place is on his hands, but not all of it. Pardon me. Had one of those hiccup burps. You, the big man, just wants to play. That's it. That's all Chris Walker wants to do. I was just thinking what would have been cool is if you actually stayed here and watched the water for a bit, that it would eventually turn red. Would have been a good sort of like play on horror movies and stuff where they make the walls bleed. Alright, I just wanted to wait until that sort of like music stopped or looped. Lench Mob, you never played Outlast, but you heard good reviews about it. If you really like first-person horror games, it's really, really good. They do a great job of creating the atmosphere and everything, and the sound design is really, really cool as well. Visually, there's a lot of really cool little things that they do to try and maybe put the player on edge or make you think you saw something that's a potential enemy or threat, but it turns out not to be. Like, there might have just been some leaves passing by the window that are being blown by the wind, or you might have the curtains flowing, or there might be a light fixture that's sort of like, swinging through the air. So there's a lot of really good things like that. But there's also a lot of jump scare moments as well, where you'll be running along or walking along, then all of a sudden, boom, something comes out at you or grabs you and things like that. But it's really, really cool, and it's got some great music as well. Your great jump scare would be someone farting loudly. Yeah, especially if you were living on your own and you were living out in the woods and it was late at night and you knew that you were the only person around and you heard someone rip a fart right next to your ear. MK Ultra CIA Hypnotic Homicide. MK Ultra Program CIA document number 19691 P1 excerpt, page 1. To file, subject hypnotic experimentation and research, February 10, 1954. On Wednesday, 10th of February, 1954, hypnotic experimentation and research work was continued in Building 13 of the Mount Massive Preserve in Colorado using the following subjects. Material abridged. 1. A post-hypnotic of the night before, pointed finger, you will sleep, was enacted. Mrs. Jackson and Pierce immediately progressed to a deep hypnotic state with no further suggestion. Miss Pierce was then instructed, having previously expressed a fear of firearms in any fashion, that she would use every method at her disposal to awaken Miss Jackson, now in a deep hypnotic sleep, and failing this, she would pick up a nearby pistol and fire it at Miss Jackson. She was instructed that her rage would be so great that she would not hesitate to kill Jackson for failing to awaken. 2. Miss Pierce carried out these suggestions to the letter, including firing the unloaded pneumatic pistol gun at Jackson and then proceeding to fall into a deep sleep. After proper suggestions were made, both were awakened and expressed complete amnesia for the entire sequence. Miss Pierce was again handed the gun, which she refused, in an awakened state, to pick up or accept from the operator. She expressed absolute denial that the foregoing sequence had happened. So to just basically sum it up, 2 women were put into a very deep sleep. One woman, who doesn't like firearms at all, was given a firearm in that state and told to actually basically shoot the other woman. The gun obviously wasn't loaded or whatnot, so when she actually did fire the weapon at the other woman, she didn't die. But when they were both woken up, both of them didn't remember what happened, and the woman who was against guns, who was given the gun when she was in that hypnotic dream state, refused the gun when she was out of that state. So that's basically what they were experimenting on with this kind of stuff. Mind control, essentially. Making people do things that they wouldn't normally do, and then making them forget that they had even done it.
Who's there?
I like the use of the sound that is almost like buzzing. Earlier we saw a room where there was some flies buzzing around, and that was obviously from the flies. But what we heard the buzzing of there isn't from flies, but it evokes the same kind of like feeling as well. Ryu, Shikaka. Absolutely, dude. For my horror streams, there might be some channel points that I have active for certain particular horror games. Thanks for redeeming that, Ryu. I was just about to talk about those. Thanks for redeeming that. So I've got that channel point redemption, which will be available during all horror streams. When I'm streaming Assassin's Creed and Tomb Raider during October, though, it won't be active for those. Only for the horror games that I'm streaming as part of October. Same with the random horror movie quote as well. That's going to be active during horror streams. Just want to double check the cooldown on that ki ma 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 thing. Okay, so I put a cooldown on it for 15 minutes. The reason I chose 15 minutes is because I didn't want it to be a thing that people could redeem every 5 seconds, or every minute, or every 5 minutes. I thought 10 minutes, because there's certain things that I'll be doing in games that take time anyway, might be a bit too short. So I thought I'd do 15-minute cooldown as well, just so it doesn't get overused also. So that'll be active for horror streams. That dude that's wandering around has a bat, a baseball bat, I think. What are you? I'm Batman. Just to reiterate, there will be points where I do stop and wait for music to play either in full until it stops or until it starts looping in and of itself. And this part here, you can be quicker at this, obviously. You interact with that, and then you go to the other thing to interact with, and so on and so forth. But I want to do this in pieces, just in case there's bits of music that plays. Okay, so it's not a bat. It's a 2x4 with some nails in it. In Outlast 2, they added a mechanic for the camera where you can go into a separate audio mode. I think it's the camera's microphone, and you can use it as a way to figure out which direction certain sounds are coming from, which comes in handy when you're trying to sneak around and you want to make sure that when an enemy is approaching, that you can tell with the audio which direction they're actually coming from. So that was a really cool improvement that they added for the second game. That's really cool there, how they make it almost as if he knows that you're there, which might make some players instinctually think they're about to be discovered, so they'll try to get out and then run off. But he goes off instead. Little moments like that are really cool too, to create suspense, and in video games to try and make the player do things that might be a rash decision. Even though it might be instinctually understandable to make that decision. there's music that plays if you get discovered by this dude, and I want to make sure that I activate it so that we can get the music in the playthrough. I don't know if it's the exact same music that always plays if you get discovered and the chase ensues, but I just want to grab it here anyway. Alright, so this music is just looping. But how funny is this? I'm glad that the AI will sometimes realize that you're just going around in circles and then stop going in the same direction and go in the opposite. Yeah, Ryu indeed is like peekaboo. But yeah, I just wanted to get the chase music. So it will change once we actually get away from him. It's going to change. So I'm going to go muted on the mic again, but I just wanted to point out the the absurdity of this. It's like something you'd see in like a Scooby-Doo cartoon or something, like hallways with doors, and every time one person goes through one door, they end up in one section of the hall, and you know, all that type of stuff. Yeah, Ryu needs more Benny Hill, that's for sure. That's interesting. I thought the music ends differently. Not in that case, no. I just remember too that I need to get the death music of what happens when you die. But I think that particular music also happens at a certain point in the game when you're being chased by something and then you escape and then the music plays. What to think on that one? Thankfully the AI wasn't programmed to go through cracks in walls or other really tight spaces. Let's go back here and see what old mate has to say. If anything. Ah, very nice. They blocked that access off. This door is closed now. Actually, there's a song by Korn called "Dead Bodies Everywhere." That would probably be good for a music video with this game, showing all the dead bodies lying everywhere.
I'm sorry, my son. I didn't want to have to do this to you. But you can't leave. Not yet. There is so much yet for you to witness. Will you see it? Can you? Our Lord, the Wall Rider, tearing his truth into the unbelievers. The only way out of this place is the truth. Accept the gospel, and all doors will open before you.
You could also use any great Korn song like Freak on a Leash. That's true. I still remember the first two songs that I ever heard of theirs was Freak on a Leash and Got the Life. Father Martin's cell. The priest, Father Martin, brought me here to show me something. Thinks I'm going to be a witness for whatever batshit crazy he's trying to sell me. This Dr. Wernicke is at the center of whatever went wrong here, but he died more than 10 years ago. Rest in peace, says the blood on the wall. Good one, Ryu. Oh shit, it's Uncle Fester. Someone should mod this game and actually make it Uncle Fester. A long time ago, in fact about 6 years ago, I did a video on my Rod Zombie YouTube channel, which I did horror movie tributes and stuff to. I also did a video that was a tribute to this game as well, so I might link that in chat. It's a channel that I don't do any more content for, at least for the foreseeable future. But there's a link to a video tribute I did for this game about 6 years ago. The last video I did on that was 5 years ago, which was a compilation of gross moments from Drag Me to Hell.
Back, no more sleep. Sleep no more. Space. Alone. Leave me alone. They're in my blood and they want to get out. Heal.
Haven't just started Chapter 13 in Resident Evil 4 Remake. That's the island with all the turrets and stuff. Without spoilers, how far are you from the end? You're definitely getting closer, Harbinger, to the end of the game. There's a horror movie that I love called In the Mouth of Madness, and the main character, played by Sam Neill, is put into a psychiatric ward, and he's in a padded room, and in crayon there's all these crucifixes that he's actually drawn around the room and on himself as well. It's such a great movie, and this part here in Outlast always reminds me of it.
Sleep no more. Space. Get back! Get the fuck away from me! Look, they're in my blood and they want to get out. Heal. Don't you dare look at me. Voices. They pulled me back. No more sleep. Sleep no more. Space. Alone. Leave me alone.
Let's slowly back away into the bushes, like Homer Simpson.
Who's this?
Maybe Father Martin's man.
Maybe.
He looks nervous.
I would like to kill him.
As would I.
The preacher asked us not to.
It would be impolite.
Not here.
We give him a running start.
There's an idea.
And when we kill him, we kill him slow.
Such patience.
I want his tongue. And liver.
They are yours. you've seen a ghost.
No Cellcat. Nope, they're completely naked.
Don't trust them. They'll tell you it's science, but it's not. They were waiting for us in this place. Billy understood. They've always been here.
They're in my blood and they want to get out. Heal. Your voices, they brought me back. No more sleep. Sleep no more. Space. Alone. Leave me alone. They're in my blood and they want to get out. Heal. Invited to this, you goddamn sicko! You like to watch? It's sick. You're sick.
Alright, just wanted to get some of the music and sound stuff. So this note is about what we just saw a moment ago. Necromantic. Fuck this place. Seriously, just fuck this place. Dying keeps moving lower on the list of the worst things that could happen to me here.
They're in my blood and they want to get out. Heal.
Until I finish. Oh, but I saved some for you. Just wait.
Alright, so the next document we found is Father Martin, Finger Painter. From nwolfram@murkoffcorp.us.com to hgranat@murkoff.us.com. Subject Patient Art Program. Patient Father Martin Archambault. Helen, Dr. Zeichner gave me your info to contact regarding the cancellation of the arts program. My patient, Martin Archambault, has made enormous strides in his therapy on account of his finger painting. Just in the week since cancelling the arts program, his schizoaffective assertions of some higher calling have accelerated enormously. Please, just let the man finger paint. the few dollars you're saving on temper paint is more than swallowed by the cost of clozapine. I can't imagine the logic at play here. Unless Murkoff wants our patients to become more disengaged from reality, please advise, Dr. Neil Wolfram. Yes, that is indeed what Murkoff wants to do. They want to make their patients become more disengaged from reality. So Father Martin Archambault is not actually a priest. He wasn't a priest that was brought to Mount Massive because he suffered some kind of psychological issue. His psychological issue is that he believes that there's some higher calling, and so he believes that he is a priest and that it is his role as that priest to make sure that he's able to do what needs to be done to appease the higher calling, and that he needs to have a witness to that, and that's the role that he has put our main character into, the role of you will be the witness, which obviously is also related to the fact that Miles is a investigative reporter and has a camera and is able to document things as well. Something that carries over in Outlast 2 with the fanatics that are interested in the Messiah, and the fact that they were looking for someone that would have, messages for them and something like that. But they realized that with the camera, that the modern day Messiah would use a camera to deliver their messages instead. That's something in Outlast 2 that happens. But in Outlast 1, this character that is calling himself Father Martin isn't actually a priest. And we see here that he really likes to paint. And they took away the ability for him to paint, which has made him have a bit of a relapse and things like that. Hence the fact that he's gotten this dude to finger paint the walls with blood with a message to tell Miles that he needs to go down the drain. Just checking the video guide for where the next document is so I can make sure that I actually get it.
They weren't experiments. They were rituals. A conjuring. Just shut up! Let me think for a minute! Quiet! Quiet!
Hey there, the Percenter. Welcome on in. Indeed, into the season of horror for sure. Yeah, I did a playthrough of Alan Wake Remastered yesterday. A standard run. Finished that in one stream. I'll be doing another playthrough of Alan Wake later in the month to try and time it so I can get into Alan Wake 2 when it comes out. And now on to Outlast at the moment, celebrating its 10th anniversary. You played Evil Within 2 only very recently. So what did you think of the second one? Had you played the first one as well? The second one's interesting. I prefer the first, but I do like the second. They did make some improvements with gameplay and things like that. But I think I prefer the aesthetic of the first Evil Within. Okay, so what I might do, that dialogue, I didn't realize it was going to stop once I opened the door, which means the dialogue's probably going to play before. So what I'm going to do is die on purpose and also use this opportunity to actually hear the music that plays when you die as well. The Percenter, both are great games. The first was more intense in terms of horror and felt more claustrophobic. But yeah, combat and weaponry felt more advanced and polished in the sequel. Absolutely. They definitely did a lot of that stuff with the combat, the weaponry. I also liked the fact that when you lose all your stamina, Sebastian doesn't just stop dead and can't be moved until it refills. I'm glad that they made it that he can still move, obviously slower, but moving slower in that situation is definitely better than not being able to move him at all. There we go. Alright, so I took that opportunity to hear as much of the music when being chased in that moment as possible until it started to loop, and then to hear the music when dying. It was a good opportunity to do that because what I want to do is reload the checkpoint, but without having to potentially miss the dialogue that was going to happen. So this time, instead of opening that door straight away, I'm going to wait and listen for that character's dialogue.
They weren't experiments. They were rituals. A conjuring. I'd like you to stay quiet. I'd like you to stay quiet. I'd like you to stay quiet.
Alright, so that's all he seems to say. Now this dude that I was killed by before, I want to actually wait and hear his dialogue, because his dialogue started and then once I opened the door to where he is, it stopped.
You're one of those Murkoff sons of bitches, aren't you? I want to show you something.
Alright, so we got that dialogue, but there was some dialogue that was playing before he opened the door. I didn't realize that he would open the door if we were standing there. So I don't know what he was actually starting to say.
Murkoff sons of bitches, aren't you? I want to show you something.
Job-like in the suppression of our desires.
But now we know.
Yes,
His tongue and his Lord.
yours.
Mine.
Alright, so this document is the Purge Gate Maintenance Memo. Murkoff Corp. PG Maintenance Memo. Proper Purge Gate maintenance is crucial to Project Walrider security. Please refer to Murkoff Corp. Maintenance Manual MMPS MM180286 or seek guidance from a supervisor with the proper security clearance. According to the guide that I'm looking at, this should be document 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go, nice. I want to actually get... I only managed to get a little bit of it because I was stopping to listen for the music. Tech, alright brother man, great stream as always. No worries at all, Tech. Thank you for being here and for watching. Thanks for leaving the lurk as well. Really appreciate that. I hope you have a good one. We'd like to recommend people check out Tech's channel if you haven't before. Playing through the Tomb Raider series, currently on Tomb Raider 3, which is celebrating its 25th anniversary. And he's going to be playing through all the main entries at least, and including the reboot trilogy as well. So highly recommend checking out his channel if you haven't before. And thanks again, dude, for being here. I hope you have a great rest. Wonder where the checkpoint is. because I'd like to see what Chris Walker does in better view. Because I was focused on hearing out the music first. Because once it triggered, when the music first triggered, I stopped. It'll probably, if I pick up the security pass, it'll probably do that. No worries at all, dude, for the shout out. More than happy to give you one, buddy. I want to backtrack a bit to see if there's a point where I can die on purpose so I can see what Chris Walker does. Now that I've covered the music that plays when he kills that dude. Although I can't backtrack. Damn it. I can't let go of the edge when shimmying on it either. Oh well, let's risk it. I have to redo everything I did before, so be it. I'm going to be ending this stream soon anyway because today's my split stream day. Good. Now this time I'm going to focus more on what Chris Walker is doing instead of listening to the music that happens there because we already covered that.
That we did. I'd say we were.
There we go. A better view of Chris Walker doing that fatality.
my God.
Vanished without a trace.
That's it, sarcasm. He thinks we're assholes.
Oh, stupid.
Let's pull him in and slit his belly open.
Wait. Just a moment.
Just need to double check where the next document is. That's a detail I didn't think of with like electric chairs and stuff, is having a place for all the excrements to go. This document is the Dr. Wernicke death certificate one. Please find attached a copy of the death certificate for Rudolph G. Wernicke, Murkoff Psychiatric Systems subcontractor number 148616, no surviving family. State of Colorado. Colorado. Hold to light to view watermark. File number 8732. Place Colorado, town or city, Mount Massive Preserve. Full name Rudolph Gustav Wernicke. Length of residence in city or town where death occurred, 0 years, 7 months. How long in the US, if of foreign birth, 55 years. Sex, male. Color or race, white. Single, married, widowed, or divorced. Write the word. Single. Date of birth, October 20, 1918. Birthplace, Germany. Date of death, February 28, 2009. I hereby certify that I attended deceased from June 4, 2003 to February 28, 2009. That I saw him alive on February 27, 2009. That death occurred on the date stated above at 4:11 a.m. The principal cause of death and related causes of importance were as follows. Heart failure due to advanced age. This is to certify that this is a true and correct copy of the official record. Alrighty then, so this is where I need to end this first stream for today. So I'll make a save. I will be back though with more Outlast after my break. I'm going to take a long one. It's Tuesday here, so Tuesdays are my split stream day. For those who won't be able to make it in about an hour and 10 minutes, thank you so much for watching this stream. I really appreciate it. I'll be back in 1 hour and 10 minutes, sorry. 1 hour and 10 minutes to continue the playthrough. Brutus, thanks for the first stream. We'll be waiting for the second stream. Oh, that's cool, Brutus. Thank you so much. And that's no worries at all for the stream. Thank you for being here. I want to thank everyone for being here as well. I really appreciate it. For those who won't be able to come back, thank you so much for watching this stream. And definitely catch you in the next one. this will be the game that I'm streaming foreseeably for the rest of Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday this week, at the very least. Because my second playthrough I'm doing as part of this celebration is a insane mode playthrough, which means if I die at any point I have to restart from the start. So I'm doing that as a second run through, but this first run through is getting all the documents and stuff. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll be back in 1 hour and 10 minutes with more.